In Major League Baseball, some pitchers make $30 million a year to throw 60 innings, while others earn league minimum to eat 200 innings of punishment. The difference between these two jobs? Sometimes it's literally just getting the final 3 outs instead of the middle 3. Today we're breaking down the 7 levels of MLB pitchers, from the human white flags who wave goodbye to leads, all the way up to the legends who made Hall of Famers look like little leaguers. Level 1. The mop-up crew. Picture this. Your team is down by 8 runs in the 7th inning, and your manager needs someone to eat up the remaining innings without using his good pitchers. This is when baseball's human white flags enter the game. These are the mop-up crew, the designated punching bags who absorb punishment so the real pitchers can stay fresh for games that actually matter. Jamie Moyer became the poster child for this category during his twilight years, throwing 78-mile-per-hour fastballs at age 49 that moved so slowly batters could literally order takeout between the windup and home plate. Moyer's fastball was so soft that catchers needed extra padding just to prevent their gloves from falling asleep. The thing is, Moyer understood his role perfectly. He would take the ball in hopeless situations and throw strikes, knowing full well that his pitches had about as much zip as a Sunday afternoon nap. Sidney Ponson took a different approach to being a human target. Ponson served up home runs like he was running a batting practice carnival game where everyone wins a prize. His ability to find the sweet spot of every bat in the opposing lineup was truly remarkable. Ponson would throw pitches that seemed designed specifically to travel 400 feet, as if he had studied the exact launch angle needed for maximum distance. Teams kept him around because somebody had to pitch those innings, and Ponson was always willing to go out there and get shelled. These pitchers become baseball's equivalent of surrender flags when managers want to save their good arms for another day. The moment you see a mop-up guy warming in the bullpen, both teams know the game is essentially over. It's like watching a white flag go up on a battlefield, except this flag throws 82-mile-per-hour fastballs down the middle. Hernandez perfected the art of floating pitches with the enthusiasm of someone clocking in for overtime at a job they hate. Hernandez would take the mound looking like he would rather be anywhere else, then proceed to throw batting practice fastballs for 5 innings straight. His pitches moved through the strike zone with all the urgency of molasses in January, giving hitters plenty of time to get comfortable and pick their spots. The twisted economics of this role are fascinating. Teams actually pay these guys millions of dollars to exist purely as human shields for their better pitchers. It's like hiring a professional punching bag and calling it strategy. These pitchers master the art of eating innings while their ERA balloon's bigger than a Macy's parade float. The goal isn't to get outs efficiently, it's just to get outs eventually. The absurd part is that some of these human target practice dummies lasted decades in the major leagues. Moyer pitched until he was 49, Ponson bounced around for years, and Hernandez ate innings for over a decade. Their secret weapon wasn't stuff or strategy. It was simply being willing to take a beating every 5th day. These mop-up artists prove that sometimes the most valuable skill in baseball is just showing up and absorbing punishment. They're the foundation of baseball's pitcher hierarchy, the bottom rung that makes every other level possible. Without someone willing to throw 200 innings of mediocre baseball, teams couldn't afford to pamper their specialists and closers. The salary structure of every pitcher above them exists because these guys are willing to do the dirty work. Level 2. The workhorses. Some pitchers become the duct tape holding baseball teams together, reliable but never glamorous. They show up every day, throw strikes when needed, and keep games from falling apart. These are baseball's middle managers, the workhorses who do the heavy lifting while everyone else gets the credit. Ramiro Mendoza became the Yankees' human Swiss Army knife during their championship runs. Mendoza could start games, pitch middle relief, close games, or throw batting practice if needed. He appeared in every possible situation except the spotlight. The Yankees used him 54 times one season, bouncing him between roles like a corporate employee handling whatever crisis popped up that day. Mendoza threw four-seam fastballs and sliders with the consistency of a factory machine, never spectacular but always functional. His ERA stayed around 4.00 most years, which was perfectly fine for someone doing everybody else's leftover work. Mike Timlin built his 15-year career on Honda Civic reliability. Timlin showed up every day without breaking down or exciting anyone. He threw 1,058 games across his career, appearing more often than most people change their oil. Timlin's fastball sat in the low 90s with decent control. Nothing fancy but dependable enough to get major league hitters out. Teams kept him around because he could pitch on back-to-back days, throw multiple innings when starters got knocked out early, and never complain about his role. Timlin was baseball's equivalent of a steady office worker who handles his assignments without drama. The thing is, workhorses like these pitch 100 to 150 innings per year, while closers get famous for 60 innings of glory. Timlin threw 1,186 innings over his last 8 seasons while closers were making headlines for perfect save seasons that barely reached 70 innings total. These middle relievers carry heavier workloads than anyone except starting pitchers, yet they earn middle-tier salaries and get zero recognition. Paul Quantrill appeared in more games than most people have awkward first dates, becoming a fixture nobody notices. Quantrill pitched in 80 games during the 2003 season, which means he appeared in roughly half of his team's games that year. He threw his submarine-style fastballs and sinkers with mechanical precision, getting ground ball outs without fanfare. Quantrill became so reliable that managers stopped thinking about him as a person and started treating him like a piece of equipment that just worked. The cruel irony hits hard when you realize these guys do the most work for the least recognition and middle-tier salaries. They pitch more innings than closers, handle higher pressure situations than mop-up guys, and stay healthier than starting pitchers, yet nobody knows their names. Managers lean on these pitchers like office workers lean on coffee, essential but taken for granted. When a starter gets bombed in the 3rd inning, the workhorses clean up the mess. When the team needs someone to bridge the gap to the closer, workhorses fill the void. They handle the unglamorous middle innings that decide most games. The downside is that these reliable arms often burn out from overuse while specialists get pampered. Teams will baby a setup man who throws 60 innings but ride a workhorse for 140 innings without thinking twice about it. The workhorses prove that consistency and availability matter more than talent in baseball's middle class. They show up, throw strikes, and keep teams competitive without demanding attention or special treatment. But this reliable approach creates space for an entirely different category of pitcher with opposite job requirements focused on extreme specialization. Level 3. The specialists. Some pitchers earn millions to face 2 batters per week in very specific situations. These specialists master the art of extreme focus, getting paid like surgeons while working part-time hours with laser-focused responsibilities. Mike Myers got paid like a brain surgeon to throw 15 pitches per month exclusively against left-handed batters. Myers would sit in the bullpen for entire series without warming up, then get called in to face one specific hitter before heading back to the bench. His entire career revolved around exploiting the platoon advantage against lefties, throwing his sidearm fastball and slider combination that gave left-handed batters nightmares. Myers appeared in 61 games one season, but threw only 38 total innings. Teams paid him millions to be available for those crucial matchup moments that might happen twice per week. The absurd specialization means teams roster guys who literally cannot be trusted against half of all hitters. These pitchers study right-handed batters on video just to avoid them completely. Myers had reverse splits so extreme that managers would rather forfeit than let him face righties in important situations. His career numbers against left-handed batters were dominant, but his splits against righties looked like batting practice statistics. Jesse Orosco appeared across 4 decades like baseball's time traveler, mastering the art of the one-batter appearance. Orosco pitched from 1979 to 2003, spanning 24 seasons by perfecting the LOOGY role before it even had a name. He would enter games, face one left-handed hitter, then disappear until the next appearance. Orosco threw 1,252 career games but averaged less than 1 inning per appearance. His longevity came from doing one thing perfectly instead of trying to be versatile. Arthur Rhodes made lefty matchups look like chess, while everyone else played checkers with simple strategies. Rhodes studied opposing hitters more intensely than graduate students preparing for comprehensive exams. He knew every left-handed batter's weaknesses, preferred counts, and situational tendencies. Rhodes would adjust his slider grip based on whether the hitter liked to pull or go the opposite way. His preparation turned brief appearances into surgical strikes. The economics are remarkable when specialists earn starter money while working part-time hours. Myers made over $12 million during his career for throwing roughly 500 innings total. That works out to about $24,000 per inning, which exceeds most people's annual salaries. Teams justify these contracts because specialists provide guaranteed advantages in specific matchups that can decide playoff series. These pitchers become experts in microscopic advantages that casual fans never notice. They study video footage frame by frame, looking for tiny tells in batting stances or timing patterns. Specialists know which counts to attack, which pitches work best against specific hitters, and how to exploit weaknesses that develop over the course of a season. The thing is, baseball values extreme specialization over general competence in certain roles. Teams would rather have a pitcher who dominates lefties 90% of the time than someone who handles both sides adequately. This approach creates roster spots for pitchers who might be unemployable in any other role. Specialists prove that doing one thing perfectly can be more valuable than doing many things well. Their success depends on maximizing advantages rather than minimizing weaknesses. This hyper-specialization philosophy extends beyond just left-right matchups into more nuanced situations, creating opportunities for pitchers who can master specific game moments and leverage them into longer careers with better pay than more versatile alternatives. Level 4. The Setup Artists. Being the warm-up band for the main event means setting up someone else's glory every single night. Setup artists live in baseball purgatory, one inning away from closer fame, but stuck in permanent opening act status. Rafael Soriano made the 8th inning his personal kingdom while knowing he would never get save credit for his work. Soriano threw 97-mile-per-hour fastballs and devastating sliders that made hitters look foolish, but his dominance happened in the wrong inning for recognition. He would strike out the side in high-pressure situations, then watch the closer jog in for the 9th inning to collect save opportunities that Soriano had created. His ERA stayed under 3.00 for multiple seasons while working in higher leverage situations than many closers faced. Setup men like Octavio Dotel create highlight reel moments knowing the closer gets all the headlines and endorsement deals. Dotel threw 100-mile-per-hour heat with a slider that broke bats regularly, posting strikeout rates that rivaled any closer in baseball. He would enter games with runners on base and the tying run at the plate, then blow fastballs past cleanup hitters to preserve leads. These moments produced incredible statistics and clutch performances, but Dotel never got the spotlight that comes with collecting saves. The psychological torture hits hardest when you realize these guys are one inning away from closer money and fame, but stuck in baseball limbo. Setup artists often earn $3 to $5 million per year, while closers with similar stuff make $10 to $15 million for working the same number of innings. The difference between the 8th and 9th innings creates a salary gap that can reach millions of dollars over a career. Scott Linebrink made reaching the 9th inning look routine, like a perfect opening act that makes the headliner possible. Linebrink would enter games in the 7th or 8th inning and shut down opposing rallies with his sinker and slider combination. He posted a 2.14 ERA over a 3-year stretch while pitching more innings than most closers, yet nobody outside of hardcore baseball fans knew his name. Linebrink created the perfect setup for closers to succeed. Setup artists often have better stuff than closers, but lack the mystique and leverage to demand top dollar. Many setup men throw harder, strike out more batters, and handle tougher situations than the guys who pitch after them. The thing is, they entered games at the wrong time to build the reputation and leverage needed for closer contracts. The bizarre hierarchy shows how one inning difference means millions in salary and Hall of Fame consideration. Closers get remembered for perfect seasons and clutch saves, while setup men with identical statistics get forgotten. This creates a strange situation where job timing matters more than actual performance. Many setup men eventually become closers, proving the role is often about timing and opportunity rather than talent. When closers get injured or struggle, setup artists step into the 9th inning and suddenly become stars. Their stuff was always good enough for closing, they just needed the right moment to showcase it. Setup artists demonstrate that baseball success is often about being in the right role at the right time. They possess closer quality skills, but work in supporting roles that limit their earning potential and recognition. The cruel reality is that one inning separates them from baseball stardom, yet that single inning creates massive differences in pay and fame that define entire careers. Level 5. The closers. Some pitchers turned 60 innings into more fame than 200-inning workhorses ever see. Closers master the theatrical side of baseball, creating drama where none should exist and turning routine outs into heart-stopping entertainment. Trevor Hoffman's Hell's Bells entrance became more intimidating than his actual changeup. The AC/DC song would blast through stadium speakers as Hoffman jogged to the mound, creating psychological warfare before he threw a single pitch. Opposing batters stood in the box listening to heavy metal thunder while 50,000 fans went crazy. Hoffman's changeup was excellent, but his entrance music did half the work for him. The song created an atmosphere that made routine ninth-inning situations feel like life-or-death moments. Hoffman understood that closing games was as much about theater as it was about pitching. Dennis Eckersley's transformation from 200-inning starter to 70-inning closer made him more famous and wealthy than his previous career ever did. Eckersley threw over 200 innings per season as a starter for years without getting much attention. Then he became a closer, and suddenly everyone knew his name. His slider became legendary, his mustache iconic, and his celebrations after saves turned into must-see television. Eckersley earned more money and recognition for throwing 70 innings per year than he did for throwing 200 innings as a starter. Closers master manufactured drama by turning routine outs into edge-of-your-seat moments. They enter games with leads, meaning they should win most of their appearances, yet they make every save look like a miracle. Closers pump their fists after striking out batters in situations where they were supposed to succeed. This artificial tension creates excitement that keeps fans in their seats until the final out. Mariano Rivera broke more bats than a lumberjack, while earning more per inning than most CEOs per hour. Rivera's cutter destroyed so many bats that visiting teams started bringing extra lumber to Yankee Stadium. His signature pitch was so effective that hitters knew what was coming but still could not hit it. Rivera earned roughly $150,000 per inning during his peak years, which works out to about $50,000 per out. The thing is, Rivera was worth every penny because he delivered in the biggest moments when games mattered most. The economics show closers earning starter salaries for part-time work because of artificial scarcity and leverage. Teams need someone to get the final 3 outs, and closers use this necessity to demand premium salaries. A closer might throw 65 innings per year while earning $12 million, the same as a starter who throws 200 innings. This salary structure exists because saves are considered more valuable than regular innings. The save statistic created an entire industry around getting the final 3 outs instead of the previous 24 outs. Baseball invented a stat that made the 27th out more important than the first 26 outs of a game. This statistical focus turned closers into specialists who earned millions for working in artificial pressure situations that they helped create. Closers represent baseball's ultimate marketing creation, turning necessity into spectacle. Every team needs someone to finish games, but closers transform this basic requirement into entertainment. They prove that timing, presentation, and leverage matter more than workload when determining baseball value. The 9th inning became a show within the show, complete with entrance music, celebrations, and manufactured drama that kept fans engaged until the final pitch. This entertainment-focused approach stands in sharp contrast to the steady professionalism that starting pitchers must maintain over much longer appearances. Level 6. The quality starters. The underappreciated art of being consistently good without being spectacular forms the backbone of every rotation. These pitchers never make highlight reels or get their own entrance music, but they show up every 5th day and give their teams a chance to win. Tim Hudson racked up wins like a vending machine dispensing success. Reliable, but never flashy enough for headlines. Hudson won 222 games over his career by throwing strikes and letting his defense work behind him. His sinker induced ground balls that turned into easy outs, and his changeup kept hitters off balance without overpowering anyone. Hudson posted a 3.49 career ERA across 17 seasons, which translates to above-average performance year after year without ever being dominant. He made 4 All-Star teams but never finished higher than 5th in Cy Young voting because his stuff was good rather than spectacular. Barry Zito's hypnotic curveball moved so slowly that batters had time for deep, philosophical contemplation between release and home plate. Zito's curveball clocked in around 68 miles per hour, which gave hitters plenty of time to think about their swing decisions. The pitch had a 12-6 break that made it look like it was falling off a table, but its speed was so slow that impatient hitters would start their swing before the ball reached the halfway point. Zito won the 2002 Cy Young Award with this approach, proving that changing eye levels and disrupting timing could be just as effective as throwing 95-mile-per-hour fastballs. Mark Burrell's lightning pace and innings-eating ability made him the fast food efficiency expert of baseball. Burrell worked so quickly that his games finished in under 2.5 hours regularly. He would catch the ball from his catcher, step on the rubber, and fire the next pitch within seconds. This pace kept hitters from getting comfortable in the box, and fielders engaged behind him. Burley threw over 200 innings in 14 straight seasons while maintaining a career 3.81 ERA. His efficiency allowed him to go deep into games without racking up high pitch counts. Quality starters bridge the gap between legends and replacements by providing 200 innings of competent professionalism. These pitchers give teams exactly what they need without demanding special treatment or causing drama. They understand their role as innings eaters who keep games close and preserve bullpens for later in the series. The cruel reality hits when you realize these pitchers often have better careers than closers, but get a fraction of the recognition. Hudson's 222 wins and 3,180 innings dwarf the accomplishments of most closers, yet closers get more attention and often earn more money per inning. Quality starters master the art of being good enough to start but not great enough for immortality. They develop reliable repertoires that work against major league hitting without overwhelming anyone. Their success comes from command, changing speeds, and understanding how to pitch rather than relying on pure stuff. The thing is, these pitchers form the foundation of championship teams while superstars get the credit. Every World Series winner needs 2 or 3 quality starters to handle the bulk of their innings during long seasons. Without reliable middle rotation arms, teams cannot compete at the highest level. Quality starters prove that consistent excellence over time creates more value than sporadic brilliance. Their steady approach provides stability that allows teams to build around more volatile talents. True legends separate themselves by combining this consistency with dominance, longevity, and signature moments that transcend regular season statistics. Level 7. The Legends. Some pitchers didn't just play baseball, but redefined what was physically possible on a mound. These legends operated on a different level entirely, turning the art of pitching into something that looked more like magic than athletics. Pedro Martinez made Hall of Fame hitters look like confused little leaguers with changeups that defied physics and logic. Martinez threw a changeup that dropped off the table so dramatically that experienced hitters would swing at pitches that bounced in the dirt. His fastball sat in the mid-90s, but his changeup came in 15 miles per hour slower with identical arm action. The combination was devastating because hitters could not tell which pitch was coming until it was too late. Martinez dominated during the height of the steroid era when offense was exploding across baseball, yet he posted a 1.74 ERA in 2000. His changeup was so effective that it made professional athletes look like they had never seen a baseball before. Randy Johnson's 6'10" intimidation factor, combined with 100-mile-per-hour heat, created a nightmare scenario for any right-handed batter. Johnson threw from a 3/4 arm slot that made his fastball appear to come directly at right-handed hitters before crossing the strike zone. His slider broke late and hard, often catching the outside corner after looking like it would hit the batter. Johnson struck out 4,875 batters over his career, including 20 in a 9-inning game. Right-handed batters posted a .171 batting average against him during his peak years, which means they failed roughly 8 out of 10 every 10 times they faced him. Roger Clemens's rocket fastball earned its nickname by making catching equipment look inadequate for the forces involved. Clemens threw consistently in the upper 90s throughout his career, touching 100 miles per hour even in his 40s. His four-seam fastball had natural rising action that made it nearly impossible to hit when located properly. Clemens struck out 20 batters twice in his career, a feat that only one other pitcher has accomplished once. His fastball was so explosive that catchers needed extra protection just to handle his warm-up tosses. Mike Mussina's analytical perfection meant treating each at-bat like a chess match he'd already won in his head. Mussina studied hitters more thoroughly than most pitchers studied their own mechanics. He knew every batter's weaknesses, tendencies, and preferred counts before stepping on the mound. Mussina threw 6 different pitches with precise command, changing speeds and eye levels to keep hitters off balance. He won exactly 270 games and posted a 3.68 ERA over 18 seasons without ever having truly dominant stuff. David Cohn's perfect game represented the pinnacle of his diverse repertoire that confused hitters across 2 decades. Cohn threw a slider, curveball, splitter, changeup, and fastball, adjusting his delivery and arm angles throughout games. His 1999 perfect game showcased this versatility as he used different pitches and approaches against each hitter. Andy Petitte's October clutchness transformed him from good pitcher to postseason legend when stakes were highest. Petitte posted a 2.77 ERA across 44 playoff starts, winning 19 postseason games. His cut fastball and changeup combination was particularly effective in pressure situations. These legends prove that the highest level of pitching transcends statistics and becomes an art form that changes baseball history. They combined great stuff with perfect timing and situational mastery. The massive gap between legends and everyone else justifies the entire hierarchy and salary structure that exists throughout baseball. Baseball's pitcher hierarchy exposes the sport's brutal honesty about value, where identical job titles hide completely different responsibilities and worth. The difference between league minimum and $30 million often comes down to getting the last 3 outs instead of the middle 3, showing how arbitrary success can seem. Every level serves a purpose in baseball's ecosystem, from human white flags to legends. Even failure has value in the right context. Teams need mop-up guys to absorb punishment, workhorses to eat innings, specialists for matchups, setup men to bridge gaps, closers for drama, quality starters for consistency, and legends to transcend the game itself. Like and subscribe for 1,000 years of luck.